Hello and welcome to the Healing Quest. I'm Kate Ellis. I am a clinical counseling hypnotherapist. My practice specializes in anxiety, panic attack, and depressive disorders. PTS, OCD, I work very well with in helping clients overcome that, as well as a host of other things. You may check out my website, thehealingquest.com, and look at all the different things I can help you with. You want to ace your test? You may want to give me a call. This is another episode in Adventures of a Hypnotherapist and some of my unique stories that I've been honored and privileged to share with healing events and restorations of when people come in. This particular story is a man who is in his mid to late 40s who was suffering with anxiety panic attacks. He is a lawyer and began to experience problems entering the courtroom. As soon as he would hit the door to go into the courtroom, he would go into a full-blown panic attack. And this caused him to put his practice on hold for over a year. He had also had some other issues in which I helped him with addictions and stuff like that. However, this client came to see me as a friend of mine. He was referred from a friend of mine who knew that I work with panic attacks, and this lawyer had agreed to accept a case for her. Her son was facing serious jail time through felonies, had recently gotten out of prison after serving a 5-year stint, and within a month broke his parole already. And they were going to throw the book at him, and she went from lawyer to lawyer to lawyer and could not find anybody who was going to take this case. They said, it's a losing case. We don't want this on his record. He's going to prison. She continued to look, and eventually somehow she met up with this client through another friend, and he agreed to take her case even pro bono, but he says, I got a problem. I can't enter the courtroom, so I don't know how much help I can be. And she goes, well, I know somebody who can completely, correct you of that, and I will take care of it. So you can take care of my case and I'll pay for the sessions for you. And he agreed to that. He came to see me and we did an orientation, which is very extensive. I get a lot of information to make sure there's nothing that I miss. And this client happened to mention that he'd had some tummy trouble, but he did not get extensively into it, and I didn't really get extensively into it either, because often stomach issues can be a part of chronic anxiety. Crohn's disease due to stress, ileitis and colitis, and other inflammatory disorders. I'm very used to dealing with that and those being corrected along with the anxiety and panic. So we agreed to work together, and he goes into the comfy chair that everybody wants to take home. And I did hypnosis, what I call a debugging session on him. And in a debugging session, I call the Mind Spa Ultimate Healing. I help you unload emotional baggage on both the conscious and the subconscious levels of mind activity. Begin the restoration of chemical levels in the brain, the serotonin, dopamines, and endorphins and such like that, as well as the hormonal levels. I help reset your circadian rhythm, which is your sleep cycle, as well as releasing procrastination, depression, anxieties, the whole gamut. That's why I call it the debugger. It debugs you of things that are inhibitive that you may not even know, especially on the subconscious or the unconscious level, things you may be carrying around since childhood, all the way up to the hour before you see me here at the office. And so I did the Mind Spa session on him, and he sits up in the chair after the session, and I ask him how he's doing. He goes, I'm doing great. And he starts to palpate his stomach. He keeps pushing into his stomach while I'm talking to him and getting his report of his experience. And I'm like, why are you pushing on your stomach like that? He says, it's gone. It's gone. It's totally gone. And he is so excited, he literally floats out of the chair. I says, what's gone? He goes, the pain. He goes, the pain in my stomach. I've been dealing with this pain for 20 years. He goes, I'm a top defense attorney and I can afford the best doctors. And I've been seeing doctor after doctor for years and years, and they could not tell me what was going on with my stomach. From day to day, I don't know what I'm going to eat. And as a matter of fact, this gentleman was very, very thin, almost to the point where I thought he might have had some sort of eating disorder, but we didn't quite get into that because often the debugger session will help with that as well. Well, unbeknownst to me, what this client decided to do was to test this out to make sure that it was permanently gone. And it happened to be some sort of football weekend where there were teams playing, there were parties and stuff going on. It wasn't the Super Bowl, but it was some sort of big hoo-ha going on. And he ate everything he knew that would make him sick. And he calls me up Monday. He goes, "It's still gone." He says, "I was bad and I did everything I knew I wasn't supposed to. I even drank alcohol. Nothing. My stomach is still fine." And he continued to test this out as the weeks gone on, and the stomach issues were completely gone. You know, sometimes chronic pain that cannot be diagnosed or is misdiagnosed can simply be anxieties, and it will lodge in certain areas of the body. For some people it's in the neck or in the shoulders. Some people have chest pains. Some people will have stomach pains or inflammation, IBS and things like that. Some people have fibromyalgia and all sorts of other things. Anxiety and stress they can be inhibitive and problematic for the body if you don't properly release it. And often when you see a hypnotherapist such as myself, just through the relaxation process itself allows you to unwind. And if you have somebody who knows what they're doing, and again, as you can see behind me, these certifications on my wall, to find a good hypnotherapist, ask them questions just like you would a doctor or any other therapist. You know, are you certified? How long have you been doing what you're doing? Also, get a recommendation from other people. My practice has been built on word of mouth for over 24 years. I do get the random person off of the internet who sees my website and says, "You know what, your website really spoke to me and that's why I've seen you." You may also find me in the Psychology Today magazine therapist directory as well. I thank you so much for your time and joining me in the adventures of a hypnotherapist, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day. Take care.